I would say I'm a citizen of the world. I had visited all 7 continents before I was 30 years old. And I've lived abroad in many countries. For example, I lived abroad in Japan for a year. I lived abroad in New Zealand. I spent a year in Antarctica. I think the world that we live in is international, is interdisciplinary, meaning that the problems we face as a civilization, not just individual nations, but collectively as a civilization, require solutions that involve legal perspectives and scientific perspectives and social perspectives and economic perspectives. These all have to be intertwined in ways to look forward. And my activities, my experiences and opportunities have largely been related to a sense of responsibility, to offer hope and inspiration to future generations, to, in some small way, help build a world that is healthy, that it offers opportunity, to recognize the challenges, and to try and work in a shared way with colleagues and collaborators, to think about solutions that are inclusive. So that's who I am.
What was the lesson you learned from visiting all 7 continents?
I learned a number of things. I learned, for example, that the most basic feature of any nation and its culture is its language. And that in order to understand a culture, it's necessary to understand its language. And which makes it difficult coming from the United States, because most Americans only speak English. Europeans and all other countries speak at least their language plus English. So I've learned that the nature of cultures. I've also learned the importance of respect for cultures and to cherish diversity, that there is a great deal of value that comes from different cultures, and that that's a source of richness that we have in the world, ranging from the music to the food, to the buildings and the architecture, the plants, how the gardens are kept. I mean, there's a tremendous variety in the world, and I think it's all special. So what I've learned is that no one country's culture is better than any others. I think that we all have different things to offer.
What was your main message in your presentation?
The main message, the Arctic is undergoing an environmental state change. So imagine this room that we're in is defined in terms of its boundaries. So we have the floor, we've got the walls, and we've got the ceiling. Those are the boundaries of this room. And the Arctic ocean is a system as well. We've got the sea floor, we've got the continents on the sides, and we have the sea ice on the surface. And the sea ice is disappearing. That is like this room with the ceiling suddenly disappearing. It's no longer the same room. With the ceiling gone, we're exposed to rain and wind and sunlight, and the room is a different room. And therefore, everything in the room interacts differently. We would move differently, we would sit differently, we would walk around differently. People coming in and out of the room would be different. The whole dynamics would change, and that's what's happening in the Arctic today, is that the ocean is going through an environmental state change. One of its boundaries the sea ice, is no longer the same. It's already transitioned, not will transition, but has transitioned into a new condition. The challenge is with this change, the environmental state change has introduced risks of political, economic, and cultural instability. These risks require thoughtful solutions that are not just in the interests of the Arctic states or the indigenous peoples, but the interests of the entire world. The solutions involve the entire international community. And so part of the challenge we face in the Arctic, as well as other places on the planet, is one of balancing national interests and common interests. What are the shared interests? Not a matter of being altruistic and giving things away, but a matter of identifying what are the common interests. Where can we as a civilization work together to solve these common problems? For a country like Korea, this is a significant opportunity, I would say. When I went to the shipyard in Ulsan, I was told that a company like Hyundai has an interest to double its capacity in terms of ships. Well, it's not a matter of selling ships into existing markets. It's a matter of selling ships into new markets. Where are the new markets? One of the new markets is using the Arctic as a trade route. So selling ships, for example, to Europe is a new market in terms of using the Arctic as a trade route. And what we know is that every time a trade route has emerged in our civilization, it's fundamentally changed the balance of power. A country like Korea is well positioned to be a significant player in both taking advantage of the opportunities as well as contributing to solutions with the challenges.